baby, to all my 30-year-old video game loving nerds out there, the bombshell of a decade just dropped, and that, of course, is the GTA 6 trailer. And I believe, as somebody in their 30s that likes playing video games, not only can I enjoy the game, but I can enjoy making a small fortune off the people buying the game, as we're going to take a look at the parent company, Take-Two Interactive, that controls Rockstar Games, and what this is going to mean. And we still got to wait a good couple years. Yes, 2025 should be the release date, but when this thing drops, I believe it is going to fundamentally break the numbers of this company, as we're going to review them in this video. And this should just be something nostalgic. We also take a look at GTA 6. If that's a conversation you'd appreciate, as always, hit that like button, because I really don't think people are paying attention to this. But first and foremost, this has not gone the way this company has wanted it to. It kind of reminds me of when, you know, Tesla, Elon dropped the Cybertruck and they throw the bearing right at the window and it busts the window. That's essentially what happened to this trailer. Basically, somebody got a hack of it and they released it the day before it was supposed to drop, or earlier than it was supposed to drop, and put crypto and Bitcoin, you know, things on it to try and scam people, and they didn't have a choice, so they had to drop the release early. And then even the investors out there are idiots. Like Morningstar, they posted this thing saying TTWO shares surge as GTA 6 comes out, all guns blazing. And we take a look at TTO shares from December 5th, and what happened here? Oh, we got a little bit of a 1%, 2% spike. Ooh, bombshell dropping. Ooh, this is rocking the investing world. No one gives a crap. Nobody cares. They just care about the game. That's why I'm talking about this today. I mean, the company's only trading for a $26 billion market cap, and I really want to kind of break down the fundamentals of this, because it is a long way from its all-time high here. It doesn't make any positive revenue, and it doesn't pay dividends. So is this a company worth investing in? There's some risk with this. We're going to talk about my thoughts, and if I'll be investing in it, if that is a conversation you'd appreciate, hit that like button and consider subscribing when this thing drops, because God knows I'll probably still be here on YouTube talking about it. But let's first and foremost talk about this trailer and what it means for Rockstar Games, because every hour I refresh their YouTube channel, this video is going up by millions, and on a level that they haven't seen and basically what I can tell for years. I don't think they've really dropped a video. Like, as far as I've scrolled back, the most they've gotten is maybe a couple million, 10 million. They could try and peak toward 10 million, but here's one that's got 16 million, all related to GTA Online, and that one was from 5 years ago. Just to put it in perspective, even Red Dead Redemption only had 34 million views from 6 damn years ago. And here we go with the trailer within 19 hours, just crushing all those metrics, and I have to applaud them. They did a great job with this game, at least the trailer of what we've seen here. Forget like all the, you know, basically what they're adding to the game with animals and obviously wind and the environments. What's really cool is they're taking real life scenarios from, like, all the stuff we saw in the trailer was from actual memes in Florida. There's a lot of stuff based around Florida in there, from the crocodiles in the stores to the lady twerking on the car. Like, that isn't something they made up. So I think there's going to be a lot of fun put into this game that I'm personally excited to see, and a lot to look forward to. So the hype's going to continue. But as we take a look basically at the portfolio within basically Take-Two's investor deck, I want to show you how big Grand Theft Auto truly is to the branding and basically the revenue generative capabilities of this company, because the franchise in total sold 410 million units. To put it in perspective, their next best brand here is Red Dead Redemption, that only sold 81 million units, just to show you the comparable difference between these two brands alone. And we haven't seen Grand Theft Auto come out in a long time, and that's because they've been nursing all of you. I can tell you, if it wasn't for online sales and obviously just kind of reinventing everything and DLCs and all this crap, they would have come out with a Grand Theft Auto much sooner. But they're not going to rush it when they know the billions that they're making continually off Grand Theft Auto 5, right? So that's what's kind of leading up to this, and they cannot have this fail. Like, this has to work. But first and foremost, let's get into the intellectual property, because we all know XCOM 2, I think, is the creator of Resident Evil. I'm not 100% sure of that, but there's a lot of brands I don't recognize in here. I don't play any of the 2K sporting games, you know, Midnight Club. All these are kind of just cherries on top of the cake to their primary brands, Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. They offer a lot of online, apps, phone games that some of these you might recognize as being pretty popular and famous. I mean, there's things in here like Farmville, which was huge back in the day. I mean, they did have some pretty big drops. And what this really reminds me of, there's Words with Friends. I remember that was popular. But this really reminds me of a show that, if you have not watched it and you like games, and you just like crazy weird crap, you gotta watch The Consultant. What a crazy show. I really enjoyed it. All about video gaming in a really weird, interesting way. So take a look at that, because that'll fill the void a little bit until 2025. But what I want to get into is the bottom line. What is GTA 6 going to do for the stock, for their income? My current projections on this, which are all speculative in nature, but you can't help but recognize if the company can even do 100, 200 million in sales, or like unit sales, holy bejeebus. When we talk about the money they're going to be charging for it, the speculative values, they want to do over $100, let alone the vast majority of their money for their future growth right now for 2024 is basically they're going to drive virtual currency sales in existing games with NBA 2K, which I'm really surprised in these sport games they have in-app purchases, and they also have Grand Theft Auto Online, the two largest individual contributors to recurring sales. That's like the primary driving force for their console and PC titles until Grand Theft Auto drops. It's going to be mind-boggling, like realistically. So if we pull up their earnings, I just want to share with you the stuff that stuck out to me. First and foremost, let me zoom in so you can see this nice and clear. They did about $2.5 billion in total revenue, about 2.6, let's say. You annualize that out, because this is over the 6-month end, over a full year, they should be looking at over $5 billion. That's it. I know it's a lot of money. It's not that that's it. It's just that none of it's really hitting the bottom line. They do have pretty good gross profits at about $1 billion off that. But the fact is they're not actualizing any of it into earnings, because they have so much costs that obviously come into selling, research, general administrative. They're actually losing about $749 million over the 6 months. Again, over a year, that's about $1.5 billion. So they're not making any money. That's why they don't have a price to earnings multiple. They're losing everything. Keep in mind, some of those are amortization costs. I'll explain that in a little moment here. But from the current asset standpoint, they're sitting on about $15 billion in assets. They've got about $756 million in cash. From a liability standpoint, they got $3 billion in current liabilities. Not even enough cash to cover the current liabilities. Total liabilities about $6.7 billion. This isn't the worst balance sheet, but it's not something that I'm like in awe of by any metric. I mean, compared to major tech companies, this balance sheet's nothing that screams a buy to me, right? But again, if you take a look at the amortization cost, they're literally writing down about $676 million in assets. So they're almost break even if you get rid of some of the amortization and like these non-value, expenses that don't directly come out of cash flow. And again, amortization is just you writing down existing assets. So let's presume you buy a car for your business. You're going to pay some money up front. You're going to own that car, but then basically that car is going to generate you the same amount of revenue getting to work, but every year that car is losing value. You can write the value of that car's loss off against the income. So as that car degrades, you can write it against the cash flow. Even though you still have the cash flow, it doesn't get counted toward your bottom line. It's just to save some taxes, right? I've mentioned this many times. So let's talk about the exact impact that could be potential from Grand Theft Auto, because when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, it broke multiple Guinness World Records. Basically, from the launch, it had broken 6 new world records, including the highest revenue generated by an entertainment product in 24 hours, the fastest entertainment property to gross $1 billion in basically 24 hours, right? So just think about how groundbreaking that first launch was. So let's presume we can even get a tiny fraction of that at a way higher cost, because again, they're going to charge an arm and a leg for this, and people are going to pay it. At over $100, if you get 100 million people to buy it, you do the math, right? Like, let's just say 100. I don't even know off the top of my head, times 100, and then you got to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. That's going to give you a groundbreaking amount of money, damn it. We're going to talk about, I can't even get the decimals in here. What is that? $10 billion potentially on launch. I don't think 100 million people are going to buy it on launch. I think it will build up to that. But still, we're going to talk about numbers that are going to be in the stratosphere for this company. Again, you go back and you take a look at those revenues, right? And if they can launch this and in 1 year end up selling even 50 million, they can do their entire annual revenues within the first 3 to 6 months, I think. I think this could easily triple the value of the stock. I don't think it's actually going to be that far of a stretch, even in a speculation, to imagine that's what's going to happen here, right? The company has been a bit dilutive with their shares, which buying today brings in some dilutive risk, but they've been using the dilution to basically purchase other, gaming companies to continue to try and add to the revenue. So, for $26 billion, there's a lot of speculative risk buying the stock today. I'm going to keep it on my radar. I do want to buy this. I do want to be a part of this trade because I think it's going to be catastrophically huge. You take a look from 2013 and this stock ran, over 1,000%. It had a great run over the last 10 years, the rate of return has been well above market average, right? So there's huge potential in the gaming world still, and I think Grand Theft Auto could be a leading defining factor to the future growth of this. So I do want to be a part of it, and I'll probably start buying the stock sometime next year and maybe just cost average into it. You'll have to subscribe to get those updates, but I can't help but not think the market hasn't fully recognized what's about to happen here. I think it's going to be very fascinating. But these are just my personal opinions. I'll let me know what you think in that comment section below.